Welcome to the Blunt Lab. I'm Al. This is Marcus. We have our brothers Rick, Matt, and Sean. What's going on, fellas?
What it do?
Hey, y'all.
Welcome to the party.
What's up?
Yes, sir. So we're just going to start things off with a little bit of Inappropriate Fantasies with Rick. What's going on, brother?
My favorite.
What's going on, everybody? I hope to be able to join you for the entire conversation. Yes, after all, as Brother Al just stated, it is Inappropriate Fantasy Talk with Rick time. Basically,
Yes.
what we like to do right about this time is talk about all things fantasy. Let's just keep it real, right? You know, I sincerely hope that by the end of this segment, you feel somewhat fulfilled and at least a little bit educated. But anyways, so for the Inappropriate Fantasy Talk tonight, I had a couple things in mind. First and foremost, the goddamn blood pressure bowl, as I'm calling it. Jesus, man. I have been playing fantasy football for 10 years now. And I promise you, without a doubt, without me really having to think hard about it, this was probably one of the most stressful regular season weeks of fantasy football ever for me. And
Yes.
there was a,
Yes.
you know, before I get into this fantasy and all, I'm going to speak on a personal matter with my friend Marcus over here. Let's just step aside real quick and let the other fellas just understand what's at stake. For those of you at home watching, in our fantasy league, currently we have a 3-way tie for first place, and there's 2 more weeks left. Well, if you include the week that we just finished, there's 3 weeks left in the regular season. So we're getting towards the nitty-gritty. The 3-way tie just so happens to be myself, Al, and Marcus. What makes it so significant tonight in this conversation is Al had a win this week, pretty much no matter what, and Marcus and I played each other.
Yes.
So the reason I called it the blood
It's a
pressure
shame.
pool- Go ahead.
It's a shame the two of you couldn't have lost at the same time. That would have benefited me.
Oh,
That would have benefited me.
We'll get into that part about this week, sir.
Oh my.
So with that said, the flip-flop, the beautiful part of this, guys, so I could just sort of recreate it for you at home, and maybe we could get a screenshot or two in there of this. Marcus and I literally had guys playing each other in almost every fucking game this weekend. So, and they were significant. I'll touch on just the one most important one was, of course, the Buffalo and Philadelphia game the other night. So all the way up until the overtime, it pretty much kept sliding us back and forth on like a 5% scale. And then it just had him in the red. Like I had him beat. It was no problem. That game ends before regulation. Marcus did not win this week. You understand?
Man, in this league, it's all about winning and finding ways to win. We got to continue to get better.
Like that. And I had 3 different games on the TVs I was flipping back and forth, one on the phone and one on the iPad. Like I have not watched that much football at one time in a very long time. I called it the blood pressure bowl. I was like, oh my gosh, I got to stop watching this for a minute. But anyway, I digress. Significant thing to that is guys, Marcus took the win. At first, I was a little upset about it. Tried to do some stuff on Addison, If he got 9.9 points when he needed 6. You know what I'm saying? And what it reminds me of is when I beat you earlier in the season, only needing like 2 points going into the Monday night, which makes it significant in that means we're tied. We both won each game against each other. Flipping that over to Al, you and I have both beat each other 1 time each. So coming out of this week, you 2 move up for that first place tie, putting me in 3rd, right? But you 2 play each other this week. And let me tell you how significant that is. There's only 2 weeks left in the regular season.
Josh Allen.
Yeah, you're going to have a lot of things this week. There's going to be a lot of things that happen real funny this week. So what I want you guys to pay close attention to when it comes to fantasy this week, and this is going to be fucking huge, right? Is go back and look at how performances have changed over the last 3 weeks with certain teams and what players are out there. I don't want to give too much away, right? All right. And kind of what I wanted to point out too a little bit, since we're our last couple of weeks of fantasy football, something I want to kind of make a regular thing is let's give a big shout the fuck out to our man Al, bro. He was an overachiever this week. That's what they call it in fantasy land. What he did this week is considered to be an overachiever, which is, simply put, his projected score, he was more than 25 points over that. So ESPN Fantasy app
Hell
will actually
yes.
classify him as an overachiever from this week. So I just wanted to give like a shout the fuck out because he was definitely by far with his 192 points, whatever it was, 191.76. He was definitely by far this week's owner achiever. You know, some of the guys
been needed.
Some of the guys that really stood up in terms of like the players though, like Josh Allen had 39 points. You know, overtime plays a factor. Same thing with Jalen. He had 34.5. And had he not like marched down the fucking field, field and got like 80 yards and fucking passes and then ran it into the end zone himself and got them 12 points, I have a different attitude during this conversation. But I digress. You know what was really standing out to me, guys, and I really want to hear from you guys on who you think about this, is CJ Stroud, man. This guy has really stepped up in fucking Houston. Yeah, he had 30 points this week, but that's not the big picture. I think the big picture with Stroud is, come on, man, this guy.
Marcus was fortunate and lucky to pick his ass up when he did.
I almost did it too.
He was only like originally in the original draft. I think in the preseason draft, in other words, all of the drafts that ESPN had on the app before the first game of the season, draft to score as many points as he's scored now. So, you know what I mean? Like that's the, like, I guess, like the most improved from what was projected player type of shit. You know what I mean? Like no one expected him to do what he's doing.
I'm honestly not surprised.
Yeah, right.
You know, because you mentioned CJ Stroud and how good he is, I just want to go off of that. And he's a guy that you want on your fantasy football team. I want to show you guys that you don't want on your fantasy football team.
What, my whole team?
Roll tape. It's only a few guys, so it's only a couple. These are the guys you don't want on your team. It's only a couple of seconds.
I love these bits.
But if you have these guys or don't, these are the guys you don't want on your fantasy football team.
These are the 3 worst quarterbacks in the NFL. If your team has any of these people, just go in a corner and cry because you ain't winning nothing anytime soon. Number 1 is Zach Wilson. Oh, my God, somebody get him off the field because he sucks. This dude has more interceptions in his career than touchdowns. He's blind. The Jets have only scored 9 touchdowns this season. Darren Bland had 4 touchdowns this season, and he's a defensive player.
He's got 5 now.
That's crazy. Zach Wilson can't throw the ball. Hell, he can't even run onto the field without falling. He sucks. Number 2 is Kenny Pickett. This Steelers offense is doo-doo. He can barely throw for 100 yards in a game. Now wonder why George Pickens is mad. He is stuck with this baby boy who can't complete a pass. And Matt Canada, who has worse play calling than a teenage Madden player. Number 3 is Daniel Jones. They gave this dude $40 million to be trash. I could do what he does, and I ain't ever thrown a football in my life. 2 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. The Giants got scammed. They better trade him soon, or they're going to be horrible forever, just like the Jets.
So yes, those are the bums, and I repeat, those are the bums you don't want on your fantasy football team.
So
there's one guy missing, bro.
Who's that?
Who?
Mac Jones.
Yeah, Mac Jones for sure.
It always be worth. Mac Jones, I just got rid of him.
Yeah, but Mac Jones is getting benched. That's different. It's a little bit different. Like, it's pretty obvious. These other guys are getting to play. Like, that's the difference.
That's true.
They're not getting benched.
And to be fair, honestly, this season's a little weird with quarterbacks. Everybody's injured. Like, if you're looking for a quarterback, you're automatically going like 8th, 9th, 10th string right now. Like, there's so many quarterbacks right now.
Stroud. That's how Marcus did go with Stroud. He picked up the backup. Like, that's what I always say. Like, you have to watch those. When you get injuries, you need to be watching what players are going to take those places.
But if I may say so, Rick is hoarding quarterbacks. Have you seen his team?
I have 4.
Yeah,
well, with Tua, you have to. You never know when he's going to get hurt again.
Hey, let me get one of those. Let me get one of those, and I'll give you Kirk.
We can always have this conversation. Like, we can have this conversation after the show, as a matter of fact. But I'm glad you played that tape. I'm glad you played that tape because the next thing I was going to highlight was the fucking busts. So, you know, first and foremost, I'm going to go ahead and kick this guy in the dick. He's still winning town, and he won a fucking game, and he was the goddamn man. But they did some hurry up stuff, and you saw some inexperience, and he threw those 2 picks. There was 3 picks in the last 65 seconds of the Dolphins-Jets game. For those of you that did not watch it on Black Friday, the first ever Black Friday game, which I might add, Amazon's clearing like a ridiculous number. I don't want to quote it yet. We'll talk about it on a future show. And long story short, my man Tua, he threw 2 picks at the end of the second half before the miracle pick 6 that these guys threw.
100-yard pick 6, yeah.
How far he can throw it, if indeed he throws it, or they try a lateral or whatever here. Meanwhile, he just tries to get away from everybody, throws it into the end zone, into a lot of traffic, and there's a pick on the other side. And coming back from the end zone is Holland, and Holland is out to midfield, and Holland is inside the 40, and Holland is inside the 20. Can you believe this?
And that cost TCL $1 million in TVs. You guys saw that, right? So
that's
TCL said on this first ever Black Friday, if somebody, and we're going to have to look into the conspiracy on this, y'all. If anybody returns a touchdown for 98 yards or more, we'll donate 1 million TVs. TCL, you know TCL, right? And that was
where's my TV at?
Who are they giving it to and how's it going? And we're going to dig into this. We're going to talk about this in a future show. I'm putting it on your radar now. It's been a big deal. TCL's already getting a bunch of notoriety for it and everything because they said they're going to commit to it because it conveniently was a 99, which did you guys notice that the next day they came back and the NFL changed it to 100 yards? You guys saw that?
Really?
It was a point adjustment.
Yeah, I did see that.
If you watch point adjustments, they make a point adjustments on Monday all the time. You'll see point adjustments. That's what those come from. Second one, fucking Kittles. I feel like we probably jinxed him because we talked about him like 2 or 3 weeks ago. And ever since we talked about him possibly being as good as, if not better than Kelsey, well, Marcus said that. Ever since then, this nigga's been stinking it up.
You can only do so much. Ball doesn't bounce our way.
Like he can't. He scored 4 points, 9 points, I think. Yeah. But
all my receivers have been like that this year.
Yeah,
our receivers have been down
definitely
bad.
Had some bad luck with that shit. Yeah, for sure. Cooper
and you,
Kupp,
and you have a strong receiving core.
Well, that's the next person I was going to say. That's a Matt guy.
They can't get it
Receivers
together.
this year to start doing what running backs are doing. Running backs seem to be really leading the pack as far as scoring goes because receivers just aren't doing what they are like
the
years
ball's
prior.
Getting spread around on receiving cores right now a little bit better. There's only a couple of teams that only have one receiver getting all of the receptions. That's the thing. So it's a good. I think personally, and this is whatever is whatever. It's a matchup thing. So you'll see things like all right. So we paid pretty close attention, Marcus, to that Philly game the other night with Buffalo. So. You see how they were covering Brown? When they went into that nickel or that cover 2, he threw the ball to Brown every time he was his first look.
Every time.
So is it it all depends on who they're playing and what kind of defenses they're gonna play. So it's something to definitely keep an eye on who they're gonna play. It's not just how good is the team that they're playing this week in terms of what the matchup is. The more significant terms is who your player is matched up against. That when it gives you the red score and the green score over there to the side, and it'll be oh, okay, I'm playing the worst fucking passing defense in the league. What you got to look at is how they're going to cover your receiver or your running back. If it's your running back and they're red in the receiving, oh, dude, play your running back against that team. That means they're pretty shitty against the run. You know what I mean? There's something to think about with that. And then of all the busts that were out there, most of us on this call had at least one bust. Al, you didn't have one. That's why you were the fucking overachiever. I looked at your guys and every single one of them motherfuckers probably scored at least their projection, if not some points more. I
left points on the bench.
Well, shit, that one is the big one I got. That's coming up here in just a second. I just wanted to point out the only real major injury this week that looks going to be significant is, of course, my fucking running back, Jonathan Taylor. After he comes in for 3 weeks off of his holdout shit, scores some good points, and now he's not going to be available. It looks like he's going to be out for a minute. He's going to get surgery on his thumb or something. To your point, bro, straight the fuck up. These are some of the points that got left on the bench. This is probably one of our worst fucking weeks.
Oh, don't even talk about that.
Marcus left Williams on the bench, and he scored 38.4 points. That's not even a quarterback.
Sick.
That's 38
he went nuts.
Sick.
Points.
Yeah.
Of course, me. I started Tua. I started Tua and Kyler Murray looking at their matchups, thinking that they would do good. Which, like I said, Tua did good. It's just those 2 picks brought him down from 18 to 7. That kind of hurt me a lot. But I left Jordan Love and Trevor on the bench, and Jordan Love had 26, and Trevor had 24.
The Packers were surprisingly well on Thanksgiving, though.
Yeah, the Packers are picking up good, man. The Packers are doing pretty well.
Mostert, Q left Mostert on the bench, and he scored 21. And Sean, you left Stafford on the bench, and he scored 23. Those were some of the ones that I really.
It didn't matter this week for me. I would have regretted it on a more challenging week, but yeah, I saw that. It happened.
Perfect segue into what I was going to say is, all right, look, this week has passed us. It sucked to get a 4-point loss. At first I was sad, but then I kind of realized, we still split the tiebreaker. And same thing with Al, you and I split the tiebreaker. What happens with you guys this week determines y'all's tiebreaker. And in case you guys don't know, all right, the way the tiebreakers work going into the playoffs and whatnot, it's based on points PF, so points forced. So it's your points that you scored. So, and if you look at that right now, the three of us are all literally within a couple of points of each other. So even that, none of us are really out there. So everything is up for grabs, and including you guys too. Like Matt, you get a little negative on there sometimes, but you guys are all still in the hunt. Like everybody's in the hunt for that fourth playoff spot right now. Like, and even me, Matt, and Al, the thing is, like, yes, those two play each other this week, and then they have a pretty good last week because we only have 2 weeks of regular season left, right? This week and then the next week, and then playoffs start, right? Y'all with me so far? All right, cool. So, thing I wanted to point it out too, because Marcus, you haven't done a playoffs yet. Something that will happen here real soon is your teams like, and this is goddamn it, I want to shoot myself in the mouth for telling you this, but the Eagles, they clinched the playoffs yesterday on Sunday. And within 2 weeks, they're probably going to clinch their division and most likely the conference, depending on what San Francisco does the next 2 weeks. What's going to happen is you're going to see that Jalen and Brown, they're going to get very conservative. Those guys are going to probably play most of the second half. So you better keep that in mind. Watch what happens these next 2 weeks because you will have them these next 2 weeks in the regular season become playoffs. So you're not going to have them. So just that's the last tip I'm giving you for free since you're probably going to be the guy that beats me in the playoffs, right?
Because that's a good point. If you don't realize the way the season plays, like, that was definitely a fault of mine the first time around. I didn't know how the season plays, and you keep playing those same guys, they're going to be very conservative with those guys, keeping them safe, keeping them healthy. So, you get bummed. Yeah.
The teams once teams start clinching spots, you can expect those players on those teams that you've been winning with all year to not really get you as many points. So just keep an eye on your bench. Don't let it go to the wayside, right?
If nothing else, they're going to get experimental, try some new things, throw some new people in. So it's not going to be your traditional.
Yeah, I'm not worried. I've been losing anyway.
Yeah.
But Matt, I think you're honestly,
no, I've just taken an approach of like a wild card. I'm just here to mess other people up. Like I'm chaos agent at this point. I got all y'all.
You see what I'm saying, Sean? You see what I'm saying, Sean? We don't need to be. We don't need those kind of problems, man. We don't need those kind of. We're trying to win.
You don't need them, but they're so much fun.
And don't forget to Marcus.
Sean, let's talk about some trades, Sean. After the show, we'll talk about some trades. I need to win.
We can talk about it. I always talk about it.
Don't forget to guys. Postseason is 2 weeks. 2 weeks again. Each round is 2 weeks. So it's like all season long. 1 week of points determines the winner. When we get into the postseason, it's 2 weeks for the first round, 2 weeks for the Super Bowl, and the subsequent rounds. Right. So keep that in mind. And just remember, motivation for those teams and momentum is a big thing, right? So just make sure you're paying attention to that. Everybody out there, not just us in our league. We talk about our league a lot in reference. But, let's just be real. Our league we play is for fun because it's us. We don't play for some sort of big award.
Our league is your league.
It's just for it's for talk, But for everybody out there, pay attention to those things. Something I only want to take a couple of seconds on. We're 4 weeks deep into NBA, right?
Yep.
In our fantasy league. I'm happy to say I take the lowest guy on the totem pole. You guys go ahead and pick on me. I am 0-4. It comes from certain days not going in and changing up my lineup because it hasn't been high on my priority list. But I want you to know that all has changed.
Yeah. Use that excuse. It's all right.
All my starters are actually playing tonight. Like I had nights where Steph was on the bench because I didn't go in there that morning and put him in because he was playing tonight. So that's what I was going to point out about basketball without us harping too much on it, because I know we're all still figuring it out, is that basketball,
I've got it figured out.
Fantasy is a daily thing, right? Got to be in it daily.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
That's
Matt's the king right now.
Yeah. Well,
yes, sir.
Like I say, man, all the time, I'm going to go ahead and toot his horn, bro. He watches more actual games and full highlight type reels than us all probably combined. You know what I mean? He knows basketball. He knows basketball in ways that we won't ever know. He's probably forgot shit that we barely know. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. So I expect him to do really good in this league. So y'all, we got to take him out.
May once again be oh my God, shoot!
Do some voodoo on his
I'm just
players.
blown away with the fact that I've scored 1,200 more points than the person in second place.
Right.
Jeez.
Right. Yeah.
But we're only
which
4
is
weeks
probably
deep.
Crazy.
We are only
Who's
4
in
weeks
second
deep.
place?
Probably
by
you.
record, Julian's in first. But if we're going by points, it's me because I have the 1 L to you, Al.
And you know what? That 1 L you have is my only victory.
Yep. Because I didn't pay attention, and I left guys on my bench, and you beat me by the amount of points my bench scored.
And I want you guys to know, you guys took time to draft your players. I want you guys to know that the computer picked my players.
But listen, it's so fluid. Like, listen, like, look, I have guys that I go drop out, pick up somebody different so I can play them tonight, then hope the next day I can get back and get that guy. And more than once, without me saying it, because I'm kind of writing out our football here. And then once football is over, understand I'm going to turn into a fucking assassin because there's a lot of weeks left. All right. So just take your time right now to get your fucking wins in, because I'm telling you right now, what's going to be really fucking important as we get down this stretch is how fluid and you move your guys in and out daily and who grabs your guys. You know what I mean? As we let them go, we're going to all ultimately get points from the same dudes. Like, I'm excited to see at the end of the season how many guys end up on all of our teams for at least 1 week.
It won't happen for me. Unless somebody gets injured drastically, I'm not changing mine up. I won't risk the day to lose it.
Okay. Hey, good to hear.
I'm pretty happy with my team right now.
Yeah, none of the big dogs are going to go. It's going to be about those guys, those bottom 4 or 5 starters, and how you rotate them in and out so you can get guys playing tonight.
Yeah, don't worry, I got them all on my team.
I got like 7 injured players right now. I got like 7 injured guys right now.
Oh, and John comes back next week.
I got a 3-1 record too, though.
John comes back next week, so I'll expect to get them points.
I'll be like sliding in, though.
Oh, tough guy.
Hit me up at the end of the week, Marcus.
No, I see how we started. I was like, oh, no, this is bad. This is going to be really bad. I'm just looking at the team like, gosh.
I hope you guys are as excited about this basketball season as I am, Ben.
Oh, I am.
Yeah.
Certainly. I am.
Definitely.
For sure.
Oh, yeah.
I definitely care more.
Does anybody know how long CJ McCollum is hurt for?
I see him being out the rest of the season, to be honest.
At least half the season, yeah.
Collapsed lung. Yeah, I don't.
Oh, yeah, that's tough.
I don't see him.
It's one of those things
back.
that's hard to come back from. It
makes it tough to play ball.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, damn.
But yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited. You guys get ready for as football starts to sort of dwindle out, and because our season's over before the playoffs start. So honestly, I feel like we're going to be able to get in a good full swing with basketball in probably about a month. You know what I mean? 6 weeks, 4 to 6 weeks. It'll be all about basketball as soon as we get into the new year. I'm excited to play with you guys.
Yeah.
Real quick too, before we finish up here. One thing I wanted to throw out there, well, really 2 things I wanted to throw out there. One, right now, man, this Vegas stuff and this sports book and the parlays are starting to get pretty interesting. I wanted to put something on your guys' radar and maybe help out with some of the people that listen and whatnot, for us to maybe start looking to do some like group stuff, maybe where we kind of like make a little pool for the show where we all put a couple of bucks in and do some parlays. See and make some group decisions on some stuff. It's so abstract, the type of parlays you can do. Matt, I know you shared with me some of the ones that you've done, and I don't know what your other guys' experience is, but I feel like we could probably help us in the show out a bit and help our listeners out by possibly diving into this, and I just wanted to see how you guys felt about that. I feel like this is something that should fall into our fantasy talks, because what's a bigger fantasy than some of the fucking parlays I've seen? Shit, a couple of dollars can make you quite a bit if you really quite quantize it. And I feel like, especially I have a friend who's got the type of brain that can quantize things really good if you give him the data, and he happens to be on the show with us tonight. His name is Sean. And I feel like if we coach him in the right direction, he can actually figure out and make some good advantages with this. So I just wanted to maybe get a vote from you guys, maybe a poll. Would you guys be down to maybe if I put some shit together for us to for the show?
For sure. For sure.
Hell yeah.
Definitely.
Hell yeah.
We can talk more about it.
And not for nothing. No sponsors yet. Price Picks is the way to go.
Bring it in, baby. All right. Well, that's
what I'm talking about.
All right, man. I want to move it on into to our next segment tonight. I appreciate you guys joining us for an Inappropriate Fantasy Talk with Rick. I look forward to some more in the future, and we're going to put some things together for all of you guys.
Oh, yes. So do we, man. So do we. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that very much. Before we segue into, this is still sports related, and I don't know if it's going to work into what you have to talk about, but we're not going to play the whole video just to get a gist of what's going on. She'll play a little bit, and then we can...
Why is the league still allowing Scott Foster to ref games that CP3 plays in? It is obvious that this beef, this entire situation that Chris Paul has with Scott Foster is very real. It is evident. It has grown and is still continuing to grow after what we saw last night in his return to Phoenix for the first time since he got traded and has become a member of the Golden State Warriors. Put this in perspective. Chris Paul has his family and friends there. It's the day before Thanksgiving. It wasn't a soured relationship with Phoenix. So this homecoming, everyone's excited. The Suns fans are excited to welcome him back. It's nothing bad about this homecoming. But instead, we're expecting to see Chris Paul play this entire game against his former team. And instead, he's ejected early in the game and being assessed a second technical in under a minute.
Wow.
Of them reminiscing about the relationship. And Chris Paul's ejected. He's out. Steph just said, don't make it worse.
Have any of you guys heard the audio about what he said about his son?
Office that watched that entire interaction, sat there and said, you know what? Chris Paul deserved that second technical. Absolutely not.
Scott Foster, a bitch.
That's insane, bro.
Yeah, Scott Foster. Yeah, he's he's not the only one in the NBA that does shit like this too.
Majority of them are. Majority of them are.
But he's the worst though. He's the worst though when it comes to this. And doesn't he have ties to old boy, the ref that was betting on games and fixing games? Yeah, I feel like they have a connection too.
They were probably doing it together.
Oh, they are mafia, bro. Every league's group of referees and umpires are a mafia.
Refs are all bitches,
insane, bro.
Like we didn't go too deep into the tape, but this ref Foster apparently exchanged words with Chris Paul's kid when he was a Clipper.
Said something about his son, apparently.
Like there was a big meeting about it, and apparently from that point on, shit was even more personal. And now you're seeing this bullshit with some of the things these refs do in the NBA. You have the guy in Boston, making those fucking phantom calls or lack thereof to help Boston along the way. And, to go back to football just a little bit, I think it was just this weekend.
The
Josh
Bears
Allen.
game.
Oh, Josh Allen. He's getting pulled by his fucking collar.
Exploding getting there, but right there, does he grab the back right there?
Oh, yeah. How do you not see that? Gene Steratore, that is pretty blatant, I think.
It is, Jim. Now, by rule, if the quarterback is in the pocket, you're permitted to, but we can clearly see that Josh Allen was flushed out of the pocket.
Which is illegal for a defender to do.
Called a horse collar.
And he gets called for intentional grounding.
Yeah.
This is in front of the ref.
Same thing at that Bears-Vikings game. Those guys got in a fight, got his face mask pulled off, and the dude who got punched got the penalty.
Exactly. So, these refs,
what are these guys watching, man? What are they watching?
They're watching the Prize Picks.
When I see shit like this, I'm like, man, I'm not opposed to AI replacing these motherfuckers.
But listen, they're already doing this shit where they're like, oh, the booth calls in those calls all the time already. So clearly it can be seen on the camera what happened. Like, you know how they have to do these fake outs, like Sean McVay had to call a timeout. I hate Buffalo, but they got screwed a lot the other night in the Eagles game. I hate Buffalo. But what they literally did, bro, was like McVay had to call the timeout in order for there to be enough time for it to play on the jumbo screen enough, for the fans to go off enough, for New York to call down and tell the referees to go ahead and review it. Like, come on, man. Like, if we're going to do that once, do it all the time. If we can see it clear as day on TV, they can see it even better in those booths.
Mm-hmm. So to Scott Foster, before I let my brother take on, I just want to say your mother is a cankerous whore for birthing a piece of shit like you.
And I
back to you,
man. I think that's a good way to end
Marcus.
That.
There you go.
Hey, I had no idea I could smoke through the mask, but go ahead.
This is awesome.
Well, I mean, I'll stay with the NBA, man. Like, how do you guys feel so far about the season? There's some surprising teams doing really well.
Go Magic.
Magic are doing good.
Yeah, Oklahoma City's doing really well. Then there's some disappointing teams like the Lakers. The Warriors. You know,
I'm happy that the Lakers lose.
Yeah.
Me too. I'm happy that I'm happy that the
Lakers can take it.
Did you
dynasty.
see?
They lost by 44
out, so they got hurt again.
Yeah, they lost by what?
Was it 44? They lost by like 44
to the Sixers
last night. Was it last night? Was it last night?
Yeah, Lakers got blew out last night, and the Clips got blew out too. Well, the Clips didn't really blow out, but
that was last night.
Huh?
That's insane, bro.
I will say though, I'm a huge fan of this tournament that they've got.
Yes.
I didn't think I would enjoy it as much as I do. It's giving the guys something more to fight for instead of it's just a regular season game. I don't care.
Yeah,
at first I didn't understand like how it was like how they were working it, but I know the game. Yeah, like the games count for the regular season record. But like you said, it gives them more incentive to like actually care about these games, like the end of season tournament. It's kind of like soccer does that, like in their leagues.
The WNBA did it as well.
Okay,
and it worked out for them. But dude, I'm just happy that the Magic are doing really well right now.
We've won 8
I'm just hoping
now.
I
told you
8 straight now, and it's not. And listen, I know people talk about strength of schedule, bro, but we beat the dog piss out of the Nuggets. We beat the Bulls twice. Like we have gone out there. Boston. It was here. And here's the best part of it all. I got the privilege to see, like, I can't even tell you. I know I made the joke in our chat box. There must have been 2,000 green jerseys walking out of the fucking arena halfway through the fourth quarter. And that is like, when you see something like that right there, you know what I mean? Like, you just got disrespected, dude. Like, I want to go do some EMS events just so I can go to some Magic games.
It's Paolo, man. He's carrying that team.
An Orlando win would make it a 3-way tie atop Group C as Banchero goes glass.
What about the Wagner brothers?
You do know he just got Eastern Conference Player of the Month, right?
But Franz
is special.
They're having some good games. They've had some quiet big games. Nobody talks about them, but they've been having good games.
I'm only asking because I haven't been able to watch. But how's our point guard play as far as the match?
They do a Matt. You can elaborate after I say this part. I guess you probably can say it a little better. They you know how like teams in the NFL do kind of like a running back trio duo kind of deal. That's kind of what the Magic's doing right now between Suggs and Fultz and even like, look, Franz kind of moves over and plays like that 3-4, that 3-1, like kind of like LeBron does. I'm not trying to compare them as players, but I will compare their kind of playing right now. Like, if you watch this dude, he has, like, I hope he gets most improved player, because it wasn't that he was that bad last year, but he is just leaps and bounds better this year. Like, you wouldn't know
he's fantastic.
Dude, but he plays a lot like Bronze.
Yeah, he's fantastic.
Bronze kind of like range. So they're it's really like a front court, back court thing they're playing right now.
It's working very good. I mean, you can see their record tells. But they're doing. Everybody's doing what they have to do. They're moving pieces around when they need to move around.
Oh, for sure.
I don't really.
Oh yeah.
I don't see anything that can really do better.
Man, the coach. Shout out to the coach, man. He's taking, and they're so young. That's what's scary about the Magic. They are so young.
Yeah, this is a good.
And they're already this good.
Same thing with the Thunder.
Yeah.
If
Chet is pretty damn good, man.
Oh yeah.
Like Chet, he's skinny as hell, but he's nice, man.
You know, babe, I don't know if you have that clip of Chet and his legs. Him and Wembanyama, you know, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this. You know, I'm a peaceful man, but if I'd ever gotten into a fight with Chet or Wembanyama, or I don't know how you pronounce that young man's name,
for the legs.
But if I leg kick the shit out of those motherfuckers, it's over.
Bro, could you imagine Joe Rogan kicking one of them?
Oh, they're done. They're gonna lose both of their legs.
He might kick their leg off.
He breaks logs, dude.
Their body.
I was taught that at a young age. I was taught that at a young age too. Listen, like I know this is gonna come across, you know, crazy as fuck the way I say it, but when you have, you know, an alleged juvenile history such as I do, they teach you how to fight different type of people, right? And so, like tall black guys, the tall guys, the guys that can jump high.
Here we go.
All you got to do is kick them in the Achilles. Those short white dudes, just kick them in the knee. Like, for real, that's the quickest way to take them down. You can break an Achilles or a knee with half ass, bro. I got taught that when I was like 11 years old. Yeah, Joe Rogan kicking the hip, he would never walk again. Like, not without a prosthetic limb.
Like, my wife showed me Chet's legs. I forgot I think he was like rehabbing or something. I'm like, yo, he looks sick.
Yeah, it's scary for the NBA because if them dudes can put some pounds on.
Oh, for real?
Facts.
Yeah, they're not able to body.
Big facts.
How are your Miami Heat doing, Marcus?
There you go.
They're doing all right.
Butler's been day-to-day for a minute. Injured, man. Yeah, Butler's been out pretty much.
Yeah, Bam was hurt for a while. Tyler Hero's hurt.
Again?
Yeah, he was looking great before he got injured, though. But I'll say this, though. That kid, the rookie, Jaime Hawkins.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That boy's nice.
Yeah, he a grown man. He like 22. Like, he played like 4 years of college.
Yep.
He ain't no like 19-year-old. He's fundamental. He plays the exact way like Heat culture dictates you play.
He was one of those sleeper
right things. Yeah. But like as far as like how they look, like I don't know, man. I think the thing with me is like Orlando's looking like for the real deal. Boston obviously is up there. Milwaukee is the one for me because right now it doesn't look fluid. And I know it's gonna take time with Dame and Giannis. But I think their defense is like horrid though.
Not for nothing. I called this before the season started.
What was that?
You did.
I called it. The guy called it going this way before the season started.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he did. And I am in total agreement with that too. Like to both your points. It's going to take a minute for that chemistry to build, but absolutely so Matt, it's definitely an easy prediction to say that. But to Marcus's point, I see a better potential there and some of the other letdowns we've had.
Well, for sure. But the thing is how much time do these guys really have left?
I don't know. We'll see by the All-Star break. If this conversation is the same at the All-Star break or one of them gets injured and we don't ever know, it'll be like the fucking Nets all over again. But I feel like they'll be pretty gelled and they may make some moves for their bench and stuff because that's a big part of it. You touched on it when you said their defense sucks. Really, they need some support. Like they got what it's going to take on their side of the court, but they need some defensive help. They need a big man that is who bodies up and is an enforcer. And they'll have the piece.
Don't sleep on Brook Lopez now.
No, I mean, like, Brooke, that's what I mean. Like, if they can get a chemistry going, Brook is definitely one, but he can't do it by himself. They need, like, I feel like they need one more piece that is not some superstar. They need another good role player that's just sits right. And if they pick that up in the next month or two, like, so let's say by New Year's or so, if they really got somebody locked in, if they're gelled by the All-Star break, they're going to be 1, 2, or 3 coming into the playoffs.
If they were, the Bucks would be in a better spot if they were able to finagle it to where they kept Drew Holiday.
Yes, they should. That's where they lost. That's where they lost for sure.
He ran the court for them. He ran the floor for them. Like Giannis doesn't. Giannis, he's a great leader, but he's not that kind of a leader.
No,
he's never really had to be. He always had that extra piece with him.
He's always had a good point guard.
Yeah, he's that soldier to just say, "Hey, point, shoot, do what you do."
Which is necessary. Which is why I kind of, when it comes to the NBA, I get a little upset when people talk about. I don't know. Guys, I say this all the time. I enjoy team basketball over individuals when it comes to basketball. Yes, you need those individuals, and sure, there's individuals I like over others. But, when people start getting all cranky and talking about super teams, this and that and the third, like if the super team classification comes in just based on notoriety of the player, and yes, any player that's like that is obviously good and talented. So let's just be honest. What's the problem with making teams that gel like that and that are good? I like watching good teams. Don't harp on these individuals. You know what I mean? And I don't know. That's where I'm coming from. I'm liking how the NBA is going because it's turning into a team sport again.
I mean, that's what you need at the end of the day. You're not ever going to win a championship without having a team at that type of high caliber.
The Heat last year. Perfect example. Butler was fucking toast by the end of the time they got into the finals.
Good old Jimmy Buckets.
Himmy Butler.
I was salty about not getting Dame. I'm not as much now because
something's changed. Something's changed about him since he left Portland.
And you know what it is? I've noticed teams are like honing in on his defense because he's not known as a good defender, but people are like going after that.
It's needed now. He's not. He's on a content team. He needs to show that he can really be that piece that a team needs to win a chip. It's not just like, okay, you're on a bad team. We understand. It is what it is. He's in that spotlight now where it's like, oh, you guys can win. Yep. All right, well, you better show us you can win now. He don't have an excuse this season.
Who do you guys see winning? Who do you guys see winning this year?
It's a toss-up. Way too early to tell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Certainly too early to tell. Because, me as a fan, I'm always going to say the Magic.
Right. Well, I know you're fan ones,
fuck fuck all the other teams.
Put in a legit fucking prediction now. Before we have a lot of data, we only have 1 month. We literally have a month of regular season games in the belt, which is what I feel like most teams are at about. Well, Ja comes back at the end of next week. So they're getting close to 20 games at this point. Most teams have played 16 to 18 games, right?
Memphis is garbage anyway. Ja's not going to change that.
No, he's going to, points-wise. No, I just mean points-wise. Because I have him. He's going to go out there and score a lot of points every night.
No, he's still suspended.
Memphis is ass.
He's suspended. He had a 22-game suspension. And they're 18 games now.
I don't think I have a solidified team. I think it'll be a West team, though.
A West team.
Yeah.
By that,
I mean, as long as it's not the Lakers.
And I see it being Denver or Phoenix, to be honest.
I can tell y'all who's not gonna win it: the Clippers.
No, they're so good. They're so good on paper, though.
I'm glad you brought that up, bro.
They stay healthy.
James Harden is one of those guys that, why? Why even trade for him? He doesn't make your team better.
No,
nothing about him says.
Well, if he would accept his fucking role there, they would be they would be amazing if Harden wasn't so selfish.
He still believes he's a number one.
He needs momentum to play. He needs momentum.
He's been a number one in years.
What's that, Marcus?
But bro, he hasn't been a number one in years.
So. No,
since he left Houston, he hasn't been a number one.
I was about to say that they're expecting him to be that Houston James Harden, and he hasn't been since he left.
Nope.
So it's done.
It's ego.
Something else.
All they've done is made Westbrook worse.
God, Westbrook has to take a back seat. I love Westbrook.
You know what? I've had Westbrook's back since OKC.
Yeah.
Because when Marcus and I used to have discussions, he can attest to this. I've always put Westbrook in my top 5 as point guards because of what he brings to the table.
For sure. If it wasn't for Steph, he'd be arguably the best point guard we've seen in the last few years.
Yeah.
Because
the dude attacks the basket like a big man.
He's not a leader though. Like he's always going to need a second piece to really run a team. Like, I don't know how else to word that. You know what I mean? Like that's the only issue I have with Russ. And it's not even an issue.
I sort of see that, but if you go and look back those years that before he left OKC,
he'll never be a Jordan or a Kobe or a LeBron where he dominates. Like that's, I guess, what I mean. Is he very skilled at his position? Yes.
Look at that 2016, 2018 Russ with the Thunder. I think,
hell yeah.
I think I could argue a little bit with you there because nobody was stopping him.
Hell no, they weren't.
Oh no, he had a lot of gas in the tank still. Then you know what I mean? Like we're looking at
that's the thing now. Yeah, where he's old. He's getting old.
It still looks like he has a lot of gas in the tank, but it's not. It's half of what he had then. You know what I mean? It just still looks like a lot because he's so much more than everybody else. Because that's what it is. He just has a fuel pump that is just on a different level.
Which is okay for how soft the NBA is now. So what he has in the gas tank left should be okay.
Works. He looks like the best out there.
I swear to God, it looks like Sean is watching a porn right now.
He is.
Sean right then.
It's still some hand check. And at 5%. I thought about that.
It only takes 1 second to take your hand off.
But on a
saying you guys missed it 3 or 4 times now.
But
James Franco, I'll come all over the place.
This also has to do with the NBA. The what's his name? Josh Giddy.
Oh God, him and Karl Malone are best buds.
They're boys, yeah. In a way.
Oh, well, see, there's no who's worse in it, but just to Karl Malone was banging a 13-year-old girl as a grown man.
Yeah, and
I thought it was okay for Mormons to do that, Al. Why are you judging?
Hey, I know Josh Giddy is 21 and the girl is 15.
It's not okay.
But where's the coverage on that?
Oh, it's been everywhere on my feed.
Where's the coverage? Getting all controversial about it, though.
Josh's little girl. I think it's Josh's girlfriend. You're in the NBA, dude. There are grown women who are going to be willing to do whatever because
they're comparing the picture to the scenario. They literally, I've seen this headline. Why isn't Giddey getting the same heat that Morant got? Because he basically just put something on a picture on a social media that is controversial. Right. Like how are they even trying to compare it? Like why are they even trying to do the they're going to treat the black guy worse than the white guy things. That's what they're trying to do in some of that shit I'm seeing.
Yeah, two different things. And
and Ja had 3 or 4 instances.
Yeah,
that's true too.
You learn from your lesson. But back to, him look, if it's true and he knew that she was underage.
Here it is.
This whole fucking 9, you're a sick fuck, dude. You know how I feel about this shit.
That one brick back.
This girl is 15, guys. You see this? This girl is 15.
Yeah.
Sean, we'll catch you on the next show if we lose you.
Yeah, I'm at 1%. I might lose y'all.
Oh,
you will never lose that. No. You just won't see us for a minute.
You'll never lose us.
I like how we all came in for our boy. I'll sell that. I hope everybody out there is watching this. This is how you have to be for your boys and your girls. One love, brother.
We might have lost them. Yeah. That's, so is there a case going on with this or?
I know there's an investigation. Is there a case? Not sure. I'll look into it some more if you'd like me to.
Because there's no way he can say it's not true because he's in the picture with her.
Yeah, I've seen multiple pictures too. It's not the only one.
We don't know the whole story yet. What we know, what I know and what I can tell, that means what they're allowing out to be the story so far is that there is an alleged scenario of she maybe wasn't honest about the age or something at first or something along those lines.
That's what I heard.
Or that
that's
he
what I
didn't
heard.
necessarily
She lied and said she was 19.
She said she was 19.
Or there was no, once he found out, then he stopped having sex with her and stuff. There's going to be a bunch more stuff that comes out with this. So I don't want to rush to judgment on it. That's where I was kind of coming from. It's easy for me to say, Ja, you're a dumbass because you're in the club and you're showing a fucking gun on Instagram or whatever. You know what I mean? It's that's an easy, obvious thing, even if it wasn't a real gun and it was registered to him. You're still dumb. If Chet didn't know, Chet. Sorry, I didn't mean to call him Chet. If he didn't know, that she was underage and she was lying about her age, it's going to come down to the particulars. When he found out, how did he act? Does she really seem and act like immature? Because look, I've met plenty of 15 and 16-year-old girls know how to act 25, and I've met 15 and 16-year-old girls that act 14. And if you're fucking a 15-year-old girl told you that she was 19 and she acts 14, you're a pedo. If you're fucking a 15-year-old girl who looks and acts 25 and lied to you and said she was 18, then I might be able to get with you on understanding why. So when more of these details come out, I think it'll be easier for us to dive into it with them. How do we judge him? And
in those cases too, a lot of these girls that lie, they should be punished as well for lying.
They should be in trouble. Sure.
Definitely. If there is any implication, it's one thing where they lied and you get upset about it and you want to fucking react, and a different scenario where she told me she was 19 and then you went to jail for a couple of months, or you end up on a sexual predator list, or all of those kind of things. Yeah, if there's some sort of punishment involved that turns out to be sort of malicious or with a malicious intent, there should be a punishment involved for the perpetrator.
Oh, certainly.
Definitely justice.
Respect.
Yes. Well, hey, folks, thank you, Marcus. That's all we have for this evening. I just want to direct y'all. We have some new merch up. We have our Christmas shirts. We have hoodies as well, shirts as well. So feel free to check those out. Get into them. We got different colors too. Different colors together. And we got red, blue, green.
Red. Yeah. Need that red.
And we got hoodies too, so those are there. And the Halloween shirts are still up there. I don't know how long we're going to keep those up there. But you guys can certainly check those out. Also, if you're looking for any artwork, please feel free to hit my nephew Nate up. I also want to thank the new subscribers that we have that Rick made sure you let me know. Ladies, thank you so much. We appreciate y'all. You're up, Mark.
Hey?
My poor Bobby.
I can't hear you. I'm sorry, bro. Oh. If you make sure to check out our track. It's called Chat Sex. The artist is Nish. You can find his music on SoundCloud and YouTube. Check him out. He's dope. Give him love.
Yes, sir. So signing off, I'm Al. This is Marcus, Rick, Matt, and even though you can't see him, Sean. Peace.
Love, peace, and hair grease.
Later.